So, sorry, I got ahead of myself there. That may have been a little awkward for some of you. But the point that I was trying to make is that we have already very deeply integrated technology into our consciousness. So, now that we're a little introduced, I suppose, my name is Emily Rose, also known as NexyLove on the Twitter webs. I'm a software engineer at Particle, which is formerly known as Spark.io. I'll leave this slide up long enough for you all to go follow me, because that's really important. I need that social capital. Let me know when you're all done. Cool. So real quick, 5 fun facts for free about me. My preferred pronoun is plural they. I'm an artist masquerading as a developer, an IoT and ubiquitous computing expert, an enthusiast. Expert was kind of Freudian slip there. But anyway, I'm one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And I'm also from Portland, Oregon, which probably explains a lot. So anyway, so yeah, I'm here to talk to you about something very important. Can anyone guess what that is? Well, yeah, I mean, essentially. The internet going forward. So that's why the title of my talk is The Internet Going Forward. But maybe not the internet that you're used to. And before I get really into this, I just want to say what I want you to think of this as is kind of like a bizarre cheerleading effort to kind of get everyone excited about the hypothetical future of the web. So this talk is completely non-technical. There are no demos, there's no code. So if that's what you're looking for, I'm sorry. So first, before we can really talk about what the internet going forward is, we need to define what going forward really means for the internet. And this is going to be a bit of a discussion. So if you have something to say, shout it out, and maybe I'll respond. So let's dive in. What is moving forward? Is it more RAM or faster processors or faster networks or higher resolution or VR headsets? Anyone? Show of hands. Who thinks VR headsets are the new thing? Sweet. Okay. Is it virtualization or containerization or scaling horizontally or new frameworks? Right? Like, are we improving our resiliency or optimizing for developer productivity? Or, as we've heard yesterday, a lot of talk about iterating quickly. Maybe. How many of us have Docker in production right now? Right? That's pretty cool. I mean, I'm excited about containers myself. I'm so excited, I can hardly contain myself. But anyway, moving on. Is it 13-button mice or illuminated programmable mechanical developer keyboards? No, those aren't that great. Trust me, I've used one. And but yeah, is it about input methods? Are we going to find ways to circumvent that eyeball fingertip feedback loop that so restricts our bandwidth when it comes to interacting with computers? Is it going to be EEGs or fMRIs? Anyone think that's the new thing? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm kind of into that. Sadly, though, you're all wrong. No. That's not what moving the internet forward really is. It's nothing personal. All of these things, as exciting and interesting as they are in their own right, they're kind of missing the mark. This is a talk about moving the internet itself forward, and it's way more meaningful than that. So with that, let's dive into some fun internet facts. All right, you're going to love this. In 2013, estimated 51% of internet traffic was non-human in nature. Does anyone know what non-human traffic means? Cool. I'm just doing this just to train you to kind of raise your hand, stay involved here. So this figure's a little hazy. It's not terribly inaccurate, but non-human traffic is traffic resulting from anything other than a real person initiating an action. So the SEO industry calls this NHT, non-human traffic. They like to acronymize things, I guess. So crawlers, which is how Google indexes the web, obviously. Traffic from malicious programs trying to exploit other systems. Scrapers, harvesting emails or details or whatever. I don't know, maybe sensor arrays? I don't know. So by 2014, that number grew to 61% of internet traffic being non-human in nature. So, obviously, it's clear at this point already a very significant portion of the internet's traffic is not coming from you or I per se, right? So let's do a little linear extrapolation. For the sake of science, right? Now keep in mind, before I show the next slide, I'm not a data scientist, because I don't really like Python that much, but I can make some really pretty graphs in Keynote, which is almost the same, right? So This is an extremely scientific graph, and as you can see, even if we use the incorrect assumption that the growth of non-human traffic increases completely linearly, by 2018, 101% of the internet's total traffic will be non-human in nature, which is fascinating to me. But we expect exponential growth of non-human traffic. So, obscenely scientific graph here. The future may actually look nothing like this, but it will be even stranger than this fiction. And as you can see, by 2018, over 9,000% of the internet's total traffic will be non-human in nature, right? So like 9,000%, that's like 90 whole pie charts, right? And like statistically speaking, anyway, I couldn't even fit them all on a slide, so that's why I had to use the line graph. But anyway, like I said, the real figures are more impressive than bogus trends. And as of right now, there isn't really enough reliable data publicly available data to make a really good chart. But there are very large corporations making very bold statements about the future. And in all seriousness, one such company has made the prediction that by 2020, over 50 billion devices will be on the internet. Anyone know what company said this? Cisco. And we all know that they're very reliable. So, I mean, that's pretty big news, right? 50 billion devices by 2020. That's like 50 devices for every person living in San Francisco today, right? That's it's considerable. Anyway, so we know the data is flowing, and will continue to do so as the number of online devices, increases exponentially, right? We like that word exponential. It's like several orders of magnitude. We like that one too. So I threw those in there, get them out of the way. Anyway, but where is that traffic coming from, right? Where is the new influx of data? Is it all scrapers and exploit scripts? Maybe? No, really, it's literally everywhere. And literally more of everywhere every single day. Every single day, more sensors are collecting more data in more locations, and existing systems are adding, additional sensors, and it's just sensors all the way down. And maybe there's some actuators too. Literally. So what does it represent? What does all of that new data represent? Literally everything. From credit card activity, transit usage, temperature readings, seismological events, gas emissions. Sorry about that. That's me. Water, air quality, the toastedness of your toast, I guess, data on anything and everything, from daily activities to, the health and whereabouts, your own health and whereabouts, to the overall status of the world at large. So literally more of everything every single day. Figuratively speaking, of course, because, it's like not every day, right? But hyperbole is one of my superpowers, so please respect that. Anyway, moving on. So what is going forward? I mean, at this point, let's see, how far are we? I'm 10 minutes into my talk. I haven't really told you anything about what I think, right? About what is moving forward, actually. So we got to that point right here after a dramatic pause. Anyone else really hot in here? Oh my God, it is so hot. So anyway, bear with me on this one. Going forward is embracing the fact that we are evolving the very concept of what it means to be human. And I quote, "Homo sapiens have outgrown their use, gotta make way for the Homo superior." Anyone familiar with this quote? Can we sing it real quick? Come on. You didn't know there'd be audience participation. All right, you aren't prepared, that's fine. So what I'm trying to say is, hold on, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's look at that transition one more time. Oh, all right, keynote, everyone. All right, so anyway, humanity has the opportunity to level up and gain new superpowers, not in the comic book sense, perhaps, but we have very real opportunities to improve our everyday quality of life, our safety, the distribution of information, and other resources through the responsible and intelligent use of meaningful data. And about non-human data that I mentioned earlier, that's a misnomer. Non-human is a misnomer. We are our data, quite literally. Imagine with me for a moment, if you will, this space is filled with the content, that space, and that space, and that space, the content that you've generated on every social media property you've ever encountered, right? So this together, these screens are pretty big. It's a bit of real estate there. So that should be enough space for you to imagine everything you've ever posted to Facebook, right? Or every tweet, every snarky Reddit comment, or hilarious image macro, selfies, and blog posts, and source code, oh my. All right, so here's the blank space for you all. Imagine, really, close your eyes. Think of that blank space. Think of all the data that you've ever generated. I actually see some of you closing your eyes, which is really impressive. Thank you. So, like I said, you are your data. You're the content you create, and when you die, your personhood continues to exist in the form of your data, and people will post on your Facebook page, and it will become a memorial, and then machine learning already allows us to recreate a semi-reasonable facsimile of your personality just by analyzing your existing content. And what does this tell us about what it means to be alive in 2020? So this is where it gets kind of deep. The internet is now also a conduit for the expansion of human consciousness itself, and the shape of our consciousness is changing. We are more than we used to be, and we are quite literally enhancing our own senses. We're giving ourselves entirely new senses. Like, for example, push notifications when motion is detected in your home surveillance system, right? Am I right? What else? GPS-enabled applications that augment our memory based on information that's relevant to your current position. That's a fun example, for my opinion anyway. So we are creating new depths of awareness, quantifying our existence on new levels, and that's interesting too, right? We've got Fitbits and Last.fm, and we check in on Foursquare, or I guess Swarm now. Someone can explain that to me later. But we use ride-sharing applications, that provide us with detailed route reports for every ride. Our Amazon purchases are recorded, and many of us habitually leave reviews for products and services that we particularly enjoy or dislike, right? Like 3 Wolf Moon shirt, anyone? No? Okay. Yes. All right. Someone. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is we are now uniquely empowered to understand and interact with our world, and there are people all over the globe who are taking their ideas that are personally meaningful to them, sharing them with the internet, and sometimes even turning them into actual products. We have people, for example, living in urban spaces that are using hardware to grow food, right, in their house. And we have farms that are starting to manage their resources more effectively. Another really compelling example that I recently became aware of is there are people that are giving a voice to the voiceless, quite literally. And I would love to talk to you about that after this talk if you're interested. I don't have time, but it's a story that actually made me cry, and really proud to actually be somewhat involved in that. So, what I'm trying to say is that you can make a thing that provides you with real value in your own life right now, today. And the future is DIY. The tools exist, and it's not that hard. There's hundreds and thousands of great resources on the internet to get started. Who's ever heard of Hackster, right? And Instructables, right? Like I said, I work for Particle. We have a community forum that's also very active. There's countless inexpensive options for development hardware. So Arduino, yeah, we heard a lot about that. Tessel, I think we heard something about that too. Raspberry Pi, Electric Imp, Littlebits, SparkCore, the Photon, the company that I work for. So any others come to mind? Anything that I didn't mention? Esprino. Hardware hipster. Yeah, all right. So, anyway, what I'm trying to say is, you can create something useful with these boards over the course of a weekend, and there are hundreds of manufacturers of fairly standardized components, sensors and actuators that are shockingly inexpensive, as Suze showed us, €1.50 for an actual device or an actual microcontroller. Very easy to integrate into your product. So, again, you can augment your existence with technology that is as unique as you, and you can solve your problems in a way that's accessible and convenient for you. So, great. I'll try to move this along just a little bit faster. I got 5 minutes. I'm halfway through. So here we go. How are we going to move forward? That's the question, right? Obviously, we've got a lot at our disposal. There's a lot of potential. How should we be utilizing all of this? What are we going to do with our technology? So stay with me. We're going to go even deeper here. We move the internet forward by pushing it away to the periphery of our vision so we can focus on being human. And this is where I use my second quote, which is, the most successful technology gets out of the way and helps us live our lives. This is a quote by Amber Case Organic. You should also follow them. She is super cool. And so she's a cyborg anthropologist. And so she studies the way that we interact through technology and kind of like how that affects our culture. So that's extremely interesting to me. And examples of this are like, overt things from like, the new Amazon Echo, right? Or to as simple as just, having motion sensors all over the place that do power resource, management and that sort of thing. So at this point, you're probably sitting here thinking to yourself something along the lines of this. And you would be exactly right, because things have changed a lot in the last 5 years and will continue to do so. And hardware is inexpensive, as Suze pointed out. The internet is ubiquitous, most places, and software belongs in the cloud. So, we're still seeing exactly how this is going to play out, but it's a new era for the internet, and it's so nascent that no one really knows, right? So, for me, this seems to make things really exciting, because this is a really great time for people that have a passion for this to get involved. So, some real quick lessons that I've learned so far. Implementations are more valuable than standards. As technical people with experience developing software, it's very easy for us to complicate the process of hardware, and just by trying to approach it as such. And so, some real quick takeaways that I've gotten value out of is like, don't be afraid to just have no clue about what you're doing. Because like right now, a lot of this stuff none of us do. And prototype rapidly, move on your ideas, iterate quickly. Don't spend like 3 months writing a spec if you don't even know how the hardware is going to fit together. And just like start hacking ASAP. Like you're going to thank yourself later. So what I'm trying to say, just to reinforce, is you are already a cyborg. And the only real choice you have at this point is to decide how well you're going to take advantage of this unprecedented access to technology, right? So get started right now. The truth is, like I said, no one has a clue yet, and this is one of the things that makes it so interesting. It's also what makes it so important for smart people that are passionate and actually care about the future to get involved. People that aren't just focused on revenue, quarterly gain, whatever. I mean, the future is much more important, right? So there's a lot of important questions left to answer, and there's a lot of important work left to do. And much like Kelsey and Suze, we need your help. I need your help. That's another hacker's quote. So, like I mentioned, I work at Particle, and we have more work than we can handle. Quite honestly, we're trying to focus on building a robust platform for the IoT that can help carry us into this new era of humanity. And we're a really small team, and we have customers who, they need help from us that we don't have the resources to provide yet. So, like right now, we're in the process of like making friends who can help, and like finding capable consultants who are interested in doing this kind of work, because it's out there, and there's just people are clamoring for us to provide them with the expertise and the tools that they need to enter into this new era, right? So let me see how I'm doing on time real quick. 40 seconds. So if you have any questions, come find me. Again, my name is Nexilove on the Twitter webs. I'll leave this slide up long enough for those of you who neglected my instructions at the beginning of this talk. And with that, I'm just going to stand here for about 15 more seconds, fanning myself, and thank you.